Hey everyone. We are just jumping in midway through the band pick phase for the first game between Santichai and Junnie. And so far, it looks like we're already in for an interesting game. Santichai has Werner out and appears to be on the verge of picking Maya as well, so a nice Empire core team over there. And Junnie still has the option to bring his Werner out as well, although he's going with Bernhardt, which makes a little bit more sense. So Himiko in action as well, Kruger, so things could get messy. There's probably no game audio right now, but I do have Straw in here co-casting with me, and it's possible that there's no Straw audio too. So let me know in the chat if you can't hear Straw. Okay, something similar happened when I was co-casting with Kata the other day, and he said he had to do something, some kind of administrative Discord streaming mode. I'm not sure exactly what that was. It is a little bit lonely. I always appreciate the help and the company and the extra knowledge, but unfortunately, we just didn't have time to make the technology work for us. Thanks, Straw. Actually, so I was distracted talking to Straw. What I should be doing is covering up the setup. Although I know Johnny's actually my guild leader, and I know that he's an honorable person. He's not peeking the stream. Let me know in the chat if you can actually hear me. That should be the primary thing that you can hear, at least. My audio is coming from a different place, so it should be fairly safe. All right, so the match is about to begin. Yeah, I'm used to streaming my own game directly from my Langrisser client, so streaming someone else's game from Discord is a new experience for me. We'll see. Thanks, Jack, for letting me know. So Santichai getting set up, boosting everyone's speed with Werner back there in the back row. Junnie is going to have to approach. He doesn't have the benefit of a Werner. So he does have one act again as player 2, valuable. And Mariel can be dangerous. Especially with Santichai without a tank. This is Sword Dance Bernhardt. Yeah, the game is going to be a little choppy. Unfortunately, it relies on the source quality of the person streaming it, so I don't think there's much I can do on my end to affect the base quality of the stream coming through. But it's one of the downsides of being able to see a live match rather than watching in a replay in a, one of those quick in-game match viewing things afterwards. So you get to see, I kind of like seeing, oh, yeah, Werner's getting that speed stance set up again. I kind of like seeing the games live because you can see kind of how much time the players are taking to think and consider their actions. You just get kind of a better feel for the actual flow of the game. Whereas in a replay, it's totally designed just for consumption speed, so you can click through each action. So they both have Sword Dance Bernhardts. Junnie's Himiko does need to be wary of the AoE from Santichai's team. It's not so easy against this kind of team to just run her in with impunity and know that you can teleport back to your teammates. You have Bernhardt, Maya, Kruger in there as AoE options who can hose her down pretty quickly. Straw saying it's Santichai's PC. Well, let's not point fingers. Let's not play the blame game. Q, welcome to the stream. It is a Kong TSDL stream. So Santichai is looking to curse Liana, which makes sense. She's going to be back there with the team. Thank you for the follow, Chris. Now, this is an interesting match because Santichai technically doesn't really need to worry too much about Hilda. He has a lot of AoEs, and as Werner, if Werner moves 10 spaces before attacking, he can ignore guard. So as long as that's on someone who's not Himiko. That's the one attack that Himiko will teleport away from. Hey, welcome to the stream, Ari. And thanks for following. And yeah, thanks for following, Randius. It's going to be tough for Junnie to get in close with that threat of all those AoEs as well. Yeah, for the next match, Q, you can blame me for one thing, and it's not having music ready. I didn't realize there wouldn't be game audio with this stream. So next time I'll set up with some Langrisser title music on repeat in the background. So Junnie playing fairly careful classic tank push here, approaching gradually. Junnie looking for a opportunity to probably make a favorable trade. Mariel's kind of the only character he has who can get in all at once without, making it too obvious what he's setting up for. She has a little bit more range with her move again moves. Santichai's Bernie has Sword Dance. So I don't believe he has Shield Bash. That said, even without the stun, which is of course obviously the easy way to kill Himiko, he could just AoE her down as well. Although if Junnie waits for the right moment, he does potentially eat maybe one AoE at most and then get back to safety or heal back up. Okay, so Santichai is going to open the action here with the big black hole on 4 of Junnie's teammates. Silencing Mariel. Silencing Mariel and Himiko. So fairly devastating opening right out of the gate. Junnie is going to get an opportunity with Liana to heal up a bit, but then Santichai, of course, has turn priority, so he'll be able to open next turn. Okay, so Mariel still silenced after Liana's action there, but it got removed from Himiko, so that's something. We'll see if Santichai plans to follow up with another Kruger AoE here. Considering the big Balance Blade Sword Dance from Burn instead. That's enough to put one turn of heal block at least on all or most of those characters. But it looks like we're going to see Kruger again instead. So this is very oppressive, knowing that Santichai has those other AoE options that are poised and ready to come in to follow up. Sword Dance is going to hurt. Sword Dance with those big chunky ruptures. We've got some Santichai fans in the YouTube chat, I see. Alright, here's that Sword Dance. I don't know. Himiko barely survives. Mariel, the only healer that Junnie has left with an action right now, and she's silenced. It's hard to see what Junnie can do here with an injured Burn against those two fairly bulky characters on the front lines. Kruger has his shield. Alright, we are going to get Himiko's 3C. That'll splash some damage. And Santichai is just going to follow up with this relentless AoE barrage. Liana's down. So the only weapon Junnie really has left is a severely injured Bernhardt. And he goes ahead with the Bloodsword Hrunting Sword Dance. Does chip away at the enemy team, but Santichai pretty much can pick away at Junnie's severely injured units at his leisure now, as we just saw with Werner charging in. So at the start of the stream, we missed most of the ban pick. It'll be interesting to see the pick ban phase for the second game and see kind of what backed Junnie into this corner of having to deal with this AoE heavy team. So the flow 3C to finish off Himiko in the back lines. Christopher, definitely GG. I think Junnie's probably just continuing this game to... yeah. Just to see what other weapons were out there. Sometimes if I know I've already lost a game, I'll play out a couple more turns just to learn more, to get more experience and see how certain characters work. Adam, unfortunately it's lagging because I'm streaming Santichai's... Santichai's streaming his own game from his PC in Discord, and then I'm streaming from there, so I'm kind of at the mercy of the source material. Yeah, Q, I think you're right. At least then, if you run Himiko in and out early, at least then you actually get to use her a bit, rather than waiting until the damage has already been done. I think probably Junnie was just hesitating because of that AoE threat, but you're right. At least getting some pressure out there so you're not on your heels would be more valuable. So Santichai is just waiting for Junnie to adjust from his side box. Be interesting to see if any changes were made. The only change Santichai made was bringing Zerida up. Yeah, I haven't seen very many really high-quality streams out of Discord, which is kind of interesting because I think they had a deal on Nitro last week or this week, which does give you allegedly higher quality streaming, but I guess it does depend on the streamer's hardware ultimately. So Junnie brings up Kruger and Bozel, so it looks like he is planning to lean a little bit heavier into the AoE debuff side. First banning Rose and Seal as well, which would help facilitate that. Santichai with the first pick of Florentia. And with the dog ban, Hilda is Junnie's only tank. Unless you count Bernhardt, which, based on the last game, I don't. Yeah, it looks good now because of this highly dynamic static screen of picking little character faces. So Junnie does go with Hilda, and then Santichai putting pressure on the healers. Santichai debating whether to go with a tank here or let Junnie ban them out and go with Bernhardt again. So he does go with Bernhardt, who can be quite a threat to Hilda. Florentia is a great enabler, especially when you know you're going to be able to get Bernhardt as well. So Junnie had enough of Kruger in that last game. Bans Kruger and takes Liana to ensure he has some kind of dispelling healer. It's funny to see the gears turning when you can watch someone actually doing their own ban pick. Okay, so Santichai going with Maya again, with this strong Empire core. We didn't really get to see too much of her in the last game, so it'll be interesting to see what she does here. Junnie gets his own AoE out with Kruger and bans Clotaire. So he sees Santichai putting together this scary Empire AoE box, and he doesn't want Clotaire to be a part of it. So Santichai goes with another speedy Empire unit. And he'll have the choice of 2 tanks for his last pick. And Junnie still has some weapons here available to him. It's just a question of if he can make it a coherent attack. So he goes with Bozel for the 1-2 AoE debuff punch. And then Ledden to round off his lineup. Himiko definitely a strong option here for Junnie's last pick if he wants to go all in with 3 big AoE debuffers. Alright, let's cover this screen up. So while the players are setting up their units, we're not going to let any insider info sneak out for all the spies out there. With Florentia and Maya, we do know that Santichai is going to have a half-decent amount of healing. Those 3 debuffers might be hard to stay on top of them. I think it might just be a question of who can engage first. And that's a strength that Santichai's Leon brings, is that he might be able to sneak a hit in. The most dope in the YouTube chat. I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, this season I've been... Oh, I just dropped the stream. Okay. Okay, that's a good thought. Alright, Santichai is actually using some of his unit setup time to try to restart his stream in a different quality and hope that it won't be as choppy. So we will see when he comes back if that makes a difference. Classic Santichai, he cares about quality. He wants you all to have a good time. It'll be about the same, it looks like. We'll see once characters start moving. But you know what? Even with a little bit of lag, we can kind of see what's going on. So we're back in action. So yeah, I think I have been playing kind of 1 or 2 Apex games every weekend. I've just been so busy with other real life things. I'm waiting for one kind of dead weekend, and I guess I'm going to try to go super hard on Apex games. So I'll definitely try to stream many windows when that does happen. And I may have drunk Tristan come over again for some co-casting on those ones. So we'll see when that happens. So Burn and Lidden are coming out front and getting their buffs off. And Junnie is getting his debuffers positioned. The Hilda should theoretically make Leon less threatening. I think the main threat of Leon will be his 3C scramble, the scramble attack, because since it's a teleport, it's not subject to Hilda's displacement immunity. The most dope in the YouTube chat says we'll just have to treat it like an Apex slideshow. Well, I am known for my slideshows. So, given that Leon is mainly here for the scramble, I wonder if Santichai has him rigged up with a balanced blade. That'll be interesting. Fun fact, Santichai means peaceful victory, Saroon in the YouTube chat. That is a fun fact. I have to say, though, I have to object just in the sense that Santichai's victory in the previous game was anything but peaceful. I'm sure Junnie would agree with that assessment. Yes, Florentia used Sudden Strike on Bernhardt. So he's either going to be able to make a play with Bernhardt or at least get him into a better position for next turn. Obviously, he has something up his sleeve. Haven't had a chance to see yet whether Junnie has Sky Archer or Mass Protect. I don't think we've had a good solid look at his Liana yet. But we will see in just a moment. Yeah, the thing about those big balance blade sword dances is that he can definitely put some damage out there even from this position. Himiko trying to be careful to stay out of that inevitable sword dance range. And this is fun. We get to see the passive fly effect from Maya's unique equipment. Santichai knows something that we don't about Junnie's Liana right now. Assuming he's looked at her. But he did give her the opportunity on that last turn if she was going to Mass Protect. Or get the Sky Archer out. Okay, she's going with Act Again on Kruger instead. Potentially with the hope of countering whatever Santichai has up his sleeve. Okay. That may... Santichai's Act Again may have been intended to bait out that Act Again on Kruger. And then give Junnie essentially less to use it on. Byrne saw that Kruger come back up and ejected from the situation, and now Kruger has limited options. Both players still in a decent position. Junnie actually bringing that ridiculous Robo Bozel skin out, flexing the Robo EOL. My free-to-play guild leader. Okay, so Junnie is setting Kruger back down beside his tank. Leon looks set to go in for the scramble. So Santichai hoping for some good disruptive repositioning here. Yep, targeting, sniping Kruger with the very end of that reposition AoE. So pulls Kruger way out of position. Dark Buddha, dwarves are good for AoE focused units. They are one of, if not the only troop who can actually increase AoE unit damage. It's basically just a straight up AoE damage increase. So on a unit like Maya that has a few good AoEs, they can basically just boost her power. Lambda makes good use of them. An AoE-focused Hein makes pretty good use of them. So Junnie is getting Kruger out of that weird position and using it as an opportunity to get that big 3C AoE off, hitting Burn over in his little perch. Getting a silence on Maya. Santichai exploring his positioning options here. We get to see one exploratory position per second. Okay, Florentia gets that side of the team back into shape. Now Junnie gets to decide which weapon he's going to bring out next. Thanks for the follow, Raven. Thanks for joining the stream. Santichai doing a good job of not giving Junnie a lot of obvious options for his big AoEs. Okay, so he's going to go with this rangy sword dance just to chip Kruger away even further. He takes his shield off. And Junnie is still really looking at kind of single options that he can target. It's interesting to see Santichai's team spread out so much on a map like this, which often feels so claustrophobic. Okay, so Hilda's coming up and switching into Cav mode in an attempt to stay safe from Bernhardt. Bernhardt can be quite devastating for Lancer Hildas. Santichai trying to figure out his preferred placement where he wants to drop Leaden to try to minimize the incoming AoE as much as possible. Alright, so he pulls Hilda forward one space. It's quite a lot of damage for Ledden. So Ledden has Hilda pinned down right now. Junnie does get to use Himiko on 3 characters. And Maya comes up with an AoE, which is something that can hit Himiko. We know that Bernhardt has already used his sword dance, so Junnie doesn't have to worry about that threat quite yet. To Himiko specifically, I mean. And Junnie goes with the single target opportunity, wiping out Leon with Bozel. Now Bernhardt takes advantage of Hilda being pinned down by Ledden here to just come down and single target, take out Kruger. Junnie doesn't really have a good angle at that Ledden to push him off with Himiko either. Normally that would be something you'd attempt to do to get your tank back in the game. Himiko and Sage are kind of 2 of the big pushers. Alright, so another AoE in here, hitting Junnie's whole team. Junnie's still hanging on though, still in better shape than he was at this point in the last game. Bozel follows up with an AoE of his own. So the front line fairly weak, but we do still have Florentia back there with her 3C as an option. Yeah, I can't imagine he wouldn't want to do it at this point. Looks like he took the silence off Maya, but Burn is still silenced. And Ledden back up to full. Himiko just barely missing that push kill on Maya. That's got to be disappointing for Junnie. Okay, the start of a new round, and Santichai's going first. He flies Maya right back in. He knows she's hurt, so she's got to get in there and unload with everything she has. Another big AoE. Maya has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. So Junnie does move his Hilda back into position. She should be able to guard again. Oh, Hilda barely surviving that. Oh, and then of course the rupture takes her out. See, wow, that was even as cavalry Hilda. So Bernhardt just chewed through the Lancer troops. Bozel with some cleanup AoE there. Man, that was a big earthquake. Maya and Bernhardt both went down. I thought Maya was doomed for sure. Yeah, Hilda was Lancer, but I thought she had her guard up. I think he put her in mounted charge mode. Oh, she lost her cavalry form. Probably from Maya, yeah. So we'll see what Ledden can do over here. He's deep behind enemy lines now, and Florentia is a little bit out of the way to help him. She is still dangerous, though. Especially against an injured Himiko and Bozel, who looks like he can't go very far. So it looked like Himiko was just barely unable to finish off Ledden there. And Santichai gets to decide what his next move is. He takes a chunk out of Bozel. Oh, but Florentia gets silenced from that. And then Bozel not quite able to finish Florentia there. This is such a chippy match. Santichai burning off Himiko's teleport, so she's vulnerable to melee attacks now. But Junnie does get the option. Oh, and Himiko's 3C is back. That should take care of both of these characters. Oh, Ledden's quite durable, isn't he? But he can't really do much. So it looks like Junnie is going to be able to just chip away at Ledden from afar. There it is. So that's game 2 in the books. Match 1 to Santichai, match 2 to Junnie. So we are going into game 3, the deciding match. This calls for a beverage. I have my noise-canceling headphones on, so apologies for any extra loud slurping that I can't hear myself. So that was quite a scrappy match. I think Junnie did have the advantage right out of the gate with that band pick, having Kruger, Bozel, and Himiko on that map with all of their kind of mobility and AoE options. Santichai put up an impressive performance, though, with his positioning game. So it looks like Junnie taking a few seconds here to adjust his side box again. It was a good silence. Unfortunately, like Q says in the Twitch chat, it was pretty much a self-inflicted silence. It's always risky attacking into Bozel. I have a feeling Junnie is using his sidebox time strategically to take care of Junnie Jr. I know that Junnie Jr. has been an occasional obstacle in our Guild Wars grinding, so... Well, thanks for following, Firelord. Thanks for coming over to Twitch from the YouTube chat. That means a lot to me. So Junnie getting Hilda out first again. Santichai, no surprise by this point. Going with Florentia, first pick. And it's possible that Junnie read that. Instead of first banning Rosenseal, knowing that Santichai was going to pick Florentia as his healer first. So Santichai gets rid of a couple long-range threats from Junnie's box. And Junnie does get Elwyn out. Which makes sense. This is going to turn into possibly kind of a rushy game, as Santichai has no tank options left. Junnie has no real healer options left. Deedlit and Mariel will have to pull their weight in terms of healing. So Santichai still has lots of really long-range, long-reach options. Yeah, Junnie securing that extra off-healer. All of these options look fairly strong for Santichai. Interesting to see Akka come out fourth. Now Bernhardt or Himiko, both strong options here. Now, this is an interesting matchup. I think I better cover this up while I'm talking. I think the key to victory for Santichai is almost going to have to be using these really long leg units, the Akaya, the Ares, the Leon, the Werner, to really, I don't know, zone Junnie, keep him slow, like slow him down, because Junnie does have that tank Hilda to kind of cluster up around, and then pick his point for attacking. So he does obviously still have some displacement up his sleeve. He does have Ares 3C, he does have Leon 3C. Werner, of course, is able to ignore guard if he moves far enough. But the options that he has to pick off on Junnie's team are like Elwyn, Deedlit, Bernhardt. They're all fairly beefy. And if he's not careful, Junnie will be able to just kind of retaliate against his long reach, run-in charging attacks. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of... Now, we do know that Santichai is very good at positional games from the last couple of matches, so it'll be interesting to see how he sets his team up to take advantage of this this extra range that he has on Junnie. Elwyn is kind of the only... Mariel to a point, but Elwyn is Junnie's only true like long-range DPS unit. So he might be put to work overtime countering this Santichai setup. So we're ready to get into the game here. Okay, so fairly straightforward soldier choices on Santichai's side. He's got the Sky Archers on Flo. He's got Angels on Leon to give him a little bit of extra protection against Deedlit. Junnie moves out and sets up the regular guard skill for Hilda. Junnie with the Lancer troops on Mariel. Fair, knowing that he's against 3 cavalry opponents. Alright, and we get the faction buff from Leon. That's a strong faction buff for Ares. It gives him extra damage for every space he moves, and of course Ares can move a lot of spaces. So for anyone just joining, this is Game 3, and it is 1 game for Junnie, 1 game for Santichai. So the winner of this match, the winner of this round, moves on to the top 16. And actually, I believe the winner of this game will move on to face Loomis. And I think I recall Loomis saying in Discord earlier that this would be the first time he ever plays Junnie. Yeah, I think Santichai's play is going to have to be not really prioritizing taking out Hilda, but rather trying to get kills around Hilda. So especially someone like Elwyn, who tries to position a little bit further away from his team. He can definitely be sniped by Leon. I've lost many Elwyns to Leons before. AoEs as well, although I don't really see these limited AoEs with Ares and Leon's 3Cs being able to overwhelm Junnie's 2 healers. I also don't really think it's advantageous for Santichai to wait for Junnie to come to him, because he doesn't have a tank, and it doesn't really use the advantage he has of these long-range units. Yeah, Raven, if... I didn't get a good look, but if Leon has Shiv instead of 3C, then that's, 1 less weapon that Santichai has up his sleeve. At that point, I think he would pretty much have to try to kill Hilda. All right, he's going for it. He's opening up first with Ares AoE. And that does do some good damage. He doesn't teleport anyone out of guard range. But it looks like he's going to follow up with Leon's AoE. And he's going for it right there to hit everyone. So he pulls Elwyn away. Elwyn still, of course, has his revive. So this is Junnie's opportunity to save Elwyn. Yeah. Elwyn kind of has his choice of targets at this point, and charging in and attacking will also serve to heal him up. I think that was not as close as Santichai wanted it to be. Elwyn's still hanging in there with a few hit points left and his revive. Bernhardt, not really hurt as bad as we thought. And then that's kind of Santichai's main weapons at that point. Right, it was a risky play, but I agree. It was kind of the only option he had. And better to use it rather than sit on it. Okay, Elwyn is opting to take out Leon. So that keeps him within Hilda's guard range and also within Bernhardt's crippling aura. If he had tried to go after one of the softer backline units, then he would have been exposed to be dogpiled on. So Junnie up a unit now, and Ares 3C on cooldown. We'll have to see if Santichai can make another play here. He should be able to take out Bernhardt with Werner, assuming he can move far enough, which with Werner is usually a fairly solid assumption. All right, so Santichai moving his Werner back to get set up for one of those long-range assassination attacks. Deedlit coming in to get her heal off now. A nice full team heal, knowing also that Deedlit could be in danger next round, so you don't want to sit on it. Okay, Bernhardt comes out and finishes that dangling Ares off. Does expose Bernhardt. But Junnie may also feel that he's willing to accept a sacrificed Bernhardt. And it looks like Santichai is ready to call it right there. So, yep, I think you're right. He put himself in a tricky position with that ban pick, only having a couple of possible weapons to overcome Junnie's defense. And he tried. He fired all those cannons right on the first round. And if it had gone his way, then it would have been great. But without those weapons at his disposal anymore, he knew he wasn't going to be able to get through. So, GG to both participants. Thank you, Santichai, for streaming. Thank you, Junnie. And thank you, everyone, for coming to watch this match and listen to me with no thrilling background music. Next time, I'll see what I can do to get this stream set up a little bit better. So with that result, Santichai goes out in a very honorable position in the top 32 in the Summit der Langrisser, and Junnie advances to the top 16 to face Loomis for allegedly the first time ever. So that will be a very exciting match to see as well whenever that happens. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a little bit more testing with Discord streaming to get things set up and tweaked a little bit better. You know I'm a perfectionist if you've watched anything I've ever done before. And I'll probably try to stream the Junnie versus Loomis match as well, because I like to follow along with what my guildmates are doing. So yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, everyone. Happy Langrissing.